Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make you overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make you overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more.
Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more, make you overdose. Damn, look at that, they broke the mold. Give you some more.
Hey guys, I'm Alastair from Trail and Kale, and this is my Asics Superblast review. So I've already had a few runs in the Superblast and I'm really liking what I'm running in. It's actually a really good trainer. It's $200 right off the bat, I'm going to tell you now. It's not a cheap running shoe, but it's very versatile. So what you get with this shoe is essentially a super trainer. And what it allows you to do is run tempo runs, long runs, and even recovery runs. Whereas come race day, you would probably switch out to the Meta Speed Sky Paris race day shoe, or any of the race day shoes that I have behind me, which I've recently reviewed. It's a trainer, it's a super trainer for doing most of your runs. But how does it actually perform on those runs? Well, I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but first let's go over the key statistics of the Asics Superblast. I said before they're $200, so that's pretty well priced for a super trainer right now. Very similarly priced to the Cloud Monster Hyper, which I have here. It's actually $220, so a little bit more expensive. When it comes to fit and feel, well, they feel really good right out of the box. Super comfortable. There's tons of cushioning around the collar and the heel counter at the back. As you can see, there's a huge stack height on here, which I'm going to go into in just a moment, but it really contributes to how comfortable and plush they feel underfoot. When it comes to sizing though, you do have to size down a half size in my experience. I'm usually a US size 9, but I think an 8.5 would fit me better in this case. Having said that, I've been running in a size US men's 9 and it feels fine on the run. Now, one thing to note on the fit, however, is because there's a lot of weight in the midsole and then the stack height, because there's just so much foam underfoot, you probably will have to do some kind of racer's loop setup here. I'll pop a link up here now if you're not familiar with racer's loop heel lock method, but that will basically allow you to get a much nicer snug fit around your heel, and it will just lock your feet into the shoe better. And the reason for that is it does kind of slip a little because of that weight underfoot. So racer's loop heel lock method will sort that out for you, no problem. The upper is a mesh upper, and while there is some breathability, it's not the most breathable running shoe out there. And inside the shoe, the tongue is attached with a gusseted feature, so it kind of wraps around your feet. Hopefully you can see in there. So that's really nice, creates a nice fit and a hugging system around the top of your foot, which helps lock the midfoot into the shoe really nicely. The midsole foam is FF Blast Turbo, you can see here, but it is layered on top of the FF Blast Plus foam, which is along the bottom here. And what that does is basically give you a nice plush yet responsive ride, which is what you want from a super trainer, because it's going to have to work for long recovery runs where you want that nice cushioned midsole, but also tempo runs where you need a responsive midsole. The outsole then, it's got some nice rubber compound zoned in places where you need it most, which is where your foot contacts with the ground. And Asics say it's a trampoline-inspired outsole. What does that mean? Well, I guess it's this springy kind of geometry that they've done here. Super cushioned. Look how squishy and soft that is. Really is a nice, fun, bouncy feeling running in these shoes. There's an 8mm drop from heel to toe with a stack height of 45 at the rear, at the heel, and 37 at the toe. 45mm is pretty huge stack height. You don't get many shoes out there that rise this high, so it's quite a unique feeling and sensation and ride just running in these shoes. It's a lot of fun because of this midsole, and I think this is the huge selling point for the Superblast. So I'm really excited to see what they do with the Superblast 2. If you're enjoying this review, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. And then finally, they weigh 8.6 ounces for a size US men's 9, which is pretty lightweight for such a cushioned shoe like this. I'm going to quickly go over some of the features that I really like with the Asics Superblast then. First off, I mentioned it, I touched on this earlier, but they are just super comfortable. If you're familiar with Asics, then you probably know how comfortable they are already, and you've probably been running in them for a while because of it. But these are just the same. They are really super cushioned around the collar and the heel counter. They've got nice little features like a loop at the rear for slipping them on nice and easily. This is a particularly good one because it kind of stays open, so it's very easy to get your finger in. Believe it or not, some brands have these finger loops which are either too small or just a pain in the ass to actually use, so it kind of negates the reason for having it in the first place. But Asics gets it. They've made a loop nice and big there. Lacing system is very traditional, but works really well. It is very easy to get the perfect, nice hugging fit around your foot. Like I said, I've gone with the Racers loop setup, you can see here. That just helped me kind of secure them onto my feet and get an even nicer fit. But the upper is also very flexible, very durable too, as you can hear. It's a synthetic mesh upper, which is super durable. There's not much going to break that, so I really like what they've done there. Now there is a downside to the upper. Unfortunately, it's not as breathable as I would like. I've been running in some pretty hot temperatures here in Northern California recently, so I do feel the heat inside the shoe. I'm hoping that that gets fixed in the next version. That would be really nice to see that, because that's really only one of the very few issues that I had with this running shoe. The tongue and gusseted tongue works really well. Love it. Stays in place when you're running. It's very comfortable and padded enough where you don't feel the laces on top of your foot. So it's a super comfortable running experience in the Superblast. Next feature that I'm going to go over then is the midsole. It's super fun. I mean, just look at that. You can tell just by looking at this shoe and this huge stack height midsole that it's going to be fun and bouncy to run on. And it really is. I love how it sticks out and kind of bumps out from the back of the heel as well. What that does is give you extra stability when you land on your heel. It kind of fixes any pronation that you might have as you land on your heel strike. And it's very symmetrical at the back too, which is great. Feels really good, and the fact that it bounces out of the back means that you've got more cushioning around the pivotal point of where most of your weight is when you strike down. So having extra cushioning out the back allows for a nice centralized squish, if you will, of this midsole, so it feels really good. That said, I personally would prefer maybe a smaller drop, maybe around 5 millimeters. Then I would feel less inclined to be running on my heel as much. I'm used to running on my forefoot or midfoot area of the shoe, so I feel like for me personally it would be a better ride with a lower drop. And the responsiveness of this shoe, because of this midsole and the FF Blast foam in here, is awesome. And it has to be because it's a super trainer, so it needs to be able to handle tempo runs, but also it has to be cushioned enough for those long recovery runs as well. And then the last feature I'm going to go over is the outsole. While the traction on the outsole is truly epic, I really don't have any complaints about how well it sticks to the ground when you're cornering, even in some wet conditions, which I've been running in. They handle it very well. I did notice, however, that there was a little stone got picked up in one of these grooves here. I'll overlay an image now so you can see that stone that was stuck there. It's very small, but it wasn't budging, so I wouldn't have been able to dislodge that stone on the run, which is a little unfortunate. But to be honest, I didn't actually notice it on the run, probably because the stack height is just so huge. But I saw it when I was taking the pictures, so I thought I should mention that. So the Asics Superblast is definitely a huge hit for me. I really enjoyed the ride. I love how versatile it is, because that means really I only need a couple of trainers, really, or a couple of running shoes. Having a super trainer means that I can do probably about 80% of my training runs in one shoe. That includes, with this shoe in particular, tempo runs, long runs, and also recovery runs. And then I would probably switch out to maybe something like the Hoka Cielo X1, which right now is my favorite super race day shoe. Go watch my review of that shoe if you're not familiar with it yet. It's hella good. There's really only a few issues with it. Like I said, you might get a little stone caught in the outsole. You'll probably have to do the racer's loop heel lock method on the laces just to ensure your heel is really locked into that shoe because of all the weight underneath your foot coming from the midsole. And then the upper isn't the most breathable. So just switching out or modifying the design of this upper for the next version would fix that. So it really is very nearly a perfect running shoe in my opinion. And so is it worth $200? Yes, I think it's worth $200 because this shoe can probably replace 3 very specialized running shoes in your running shoe lineup. So yeah, I think it's worth it. I'm loving it. This is a really good shoe. I highly recommend you go check it out. If you're familiar with Asics, maybe you want to give them a try. You want that one shoe to do most of your training runs. Definitely give it a go. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Thanks for watching this Asics Superblast review. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like and share it with a friend if you think it will be useful for them as well. And subscribe to our channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. Thanks again for watching. See you next time. Peace.